ahead and we'll start recording, and people can still jump on if they are able to. All right, let me see. Okay, all right. Hey everyone, my name is Amber Ike. Welcome to our Hawaii Hustlers Zoom tonight. These are quickly becoming one of the highlights of my week, and I just look forward to having awesome guests on here every Monday night, and tonight is going to be amazing. Tonight we have a special guest, Diamond Sarah Taylor, and she is actually one of my sweet friends down here, and we met through Plexus. We live in the same area, so we've just had a lot of fun doing events together. And she is going to be talking about leadership tonight, all things leadership. And she is actually an exceptional leader and someone I'm always going to get ideas and tips on leadership and various other topics. So be sure to get ready to take notes. I hope you have your paper and your pen handy, because she is going to bring some wisdom tonight, not to set you up too much, Sarah, but it's going to be incredible, and I just can't wait for you guys to hear from her, and I know that this is going to be a treat for all of our businesses. So, Sarah, are you there?
Yes, I'm there. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good. It just popped up a little notification that said my microphone wasn't working, so I got a little panicked.
No, I hear you loud and clear.
Good deal. Okay. Thank you for that amazing introduction. Hopefully I live up to those expectations and I can give you guys some direction. But thank you so much for inviting me on your call. It truly is an honor to be speaking to you guys tonight. So I'm going to do just a real brief story about where my story, who I am, just so you guys know, because I know probably the majority of you guys have no idea who I am. So I live in Spring, Texas, like Amber said, and I began Plexus 22 months ago. I actually started pretty quickly with the company and started going through the ranks very, very quickly. Seemed like it was kind of one rank after the other until I hit Ruby. And then everything came to a screeching halt. And I really stalled out for a long time at Ruby. And I had to figure out, and not only did I stall out, but as soon as I hit Ruby, I lost Ruby. And so I wasn't even maintaining my Ruby status, which I know a few of you guys may not really realize how the comp plan works with Plexus. You don't ever lose your rank, but you're just paid on what you're doing. And so when I say that I lost Ruby, I didn't lose Ruby. I didn't become non-Ruby anymore. But I wasn't at that same achieved level anymore. And so that was a really scary time for me. And pretty much what I'm going to cover tonight is how I got out of that hole, and what I did to recreate momentum on my team and to kind of pull myself out of that, because I sat there for a number of months, from the summer all the way through January. So it was a good half year. Now, after we went through all of that, our momentum started back up again, and I went and hit Senior Ruby, and then went 3 months and hit Emerald, went, I think it was 3 months again and hit Sapphire, and then 2 months to Diamond. So I'm Diamond right now. My husband is Emerald, and that's who we are. But so during that time of the stall, I feel like I kind of look back on it and I'm thankful for it, because I think that it really, really taught me a lot about myself. Number one, I always say that during this process, if you're not growing yourself, if you're not evolving into a new person, then you may definitely hit some roadblocks down the road. And I think it's really important to kind of do some self-reflection and figure out, who you are through this journey, and always be open to growing. So I did that. I'm not going to lie. At first, I played a pretty big blame game. Nothing was my fault, because I had been going through the ranks and I couldn't figure out why I'd stalled. So I guess just human nature to start blaming other people for this happening. I blamed my downline, I blamed my upline, I blamed everybody, just life in general. We had a lot going on personally through that time too, a couple moves, deaths in the family, that kind of thing. So literally everything I could figure out for that first couple months, I was blaming it on that, and it wasn't my fault. The minute I started to take ownership of what was going wrong with the team is when things really started to become clear. I did realize that, yes, this sellout was my fault. I had hit what we call a leadership ceiling in my business. I had rode this momentum wave to the top, and that's as far as it got me. I wasn't doing anything to move the business forward. The business was kind of moving forward on its own because I had a primed network. And what I mean by a prime network is that I had what we call, people believed me. My mom's a nutritionist. I have always lived an organic lifestyle and been very vocal about that. So people trusted me to join in the business. So that leadership ceiling, that, I realized after a couple months that I had hit it, and it's been a good deal of time reflecting on what I could do better within the business. Really poured into learning the network marketing industry, but then realized that I really, really needed to focus on leadership in particular. And that's kind of what this call is all going to be about. I had realized that I wasn't duplicating. I was leading by example, but I wasn't assisting people in learning. And that was a big downfall for me. I really needed to make things super simple to duplicate, super obvious to duplicate, and I needed to be transparent with my team and what I was doing to have success instead of just leading by example. The other half of that was I wasn't training anyone. I was kind of going through the motions and posting information and that kind of thing, but I wasn't truly training anybody, and I wasn't truly empowering anyone else to do what I was doing. It was just me, my team page, and it was like the Sarah show, and that's not what you want. So I kind of went back to basics. I figured out who were my runners on my team, who were my hobbyists, who were my wholesalers, and who were my quitters, the people that I knew were not going to stick around for the long term. So I personally spent the most time with my runners, but the key here for me was I did not neglect my hobbyists or my wholesalers. I just gave them the appropriate amount of time while still developing the solid relationships with them. Now I'll say this, a lot of the focus that I'm going to talk about through this call is relationships. I think this is one of my biggest strengths. And like back when I said you have to identify your strengths and your weaknesses, you need to capitalize on those strengths and help other people fill in where you're weak. For me, my strength was the ability to build relationships. I was a recruiter in a previous life. So in my previous life, sorry, that's where I came from before Plexus. But so that ability to kind of build common ground with people and focus on building those relationships was kind of easy for me. So that's where I really dove in. And I really think if this is relationship marketing, it is. We all know this is based on relationships, and that's a big key. So if you don't have buy-in from your team, you're going to hit that leadership ceiling pretty quickly. So what I did was I focused on what I could do for them and not what they were doing for me. And that was a mind shift for me. I needed to shift the focus into pouring into my team and helping them capitalize on their own strengths and weaknesses. And to do this, I sought them out really one-on-one and gave them my time. I figured out what they wanted out of this, who they really were on the inside, and helped them figure out their strengths and weaknesses. And I really created a bond with my team members and really focused on this being a we thing and not a me thing. I really had to kind of shift the culture of my team, so to speak. So what I started doing is I started creating all these little message threads within my team. I created groups of leaders. I created groups of people that had common goals, that were all going for gold, that were going for senior gold, and that kind of thing. Those threads still stand today. I remove people as they rank, and so it's an honor to be able to be removed from the group and then go on to the next group. But then I also have little groups of leaders that it's kind of like my inner circle. If you guys have read the 21 Laws of Leadership, that really details it out well. I didn't know what I was doing when I did that, but that is kind of what it is. And through those message threads, I really used them to empower my team members. I wanted to hear their voice. I wanted to hear what they were doing to have success. And I wanted to get their ideas on this. And I wanted to create kind of like a meeting of the minds and treat them as partners in the business and not just team members of mine or something along those lines. So really created a group of an inner circle of leaders that jointly run this team. So we were always on the same page. We always kind of did a give and take of ideas and that sort of thing. And then we would jointly cast our vision to the team. So all of my leaders and myself were always on the same page. We always had the same focus each month. We would come together and figure out, okay, what do we need to do this month? Do we need to be heavy recruiting? Do we need, what kind of roadblocks do we see with this month in particular? If it's a holiday month, what are we going to see? Is this season slowing down? Is it picking up? And we would really focus all of our efforts, our contests, our communications, the types of trainings we were doing that month. All of the initiatives would be focused around what we collectively thought the team needed that month. And I think that it really helped with buy-in across the board. And you can't do this alone. You cannot get to the top alone. You have to have people with you filling in. And it's really, really great to hear other people's ideas on what they are hearing, what they're hearing from their team, what they're hearing from their sidelines within your own team, and help fix those problems. Like if there's a product training gap or something along those lines, then we'll get back to basics and focus on the products. Stuff like that is kind of what I'm talking about. So we really, really focused on empowering all those team members as well and giving them a voice within how the team was run. Anytime I do something, I always ask their opinion, before I post it. Hey, do you guys, and I'm not talking oversharing, like they're not working with me on wording of posts and stuff like that. Like it's not that detailed, but I run ideas by them constantly. And I really do value that opinion. Let's see. So I lost my point. And then we also built kind of a culture of mutual respect. I think that's incredibly important in your team. And we squashed any drama that would pop up. We didn't allow drama to creep in. And I hear from a lot of people that they have drama with their upline or they have drama with their downline. You guys have to cast that aside. You cannot have drama with your downline. You cannot allow this to be a power struggle or a pride issue or anything like that. Build a relationship based on mutual respect with these people, value those opinions that they have, and figure out how to have a working relationship with people that you may have a personality clash with. Because it does both of you guys no good to have those disagreements. The team sees that. Even if you don't think that they do, they definitely pick up on it if there's any kind of issue at all. So work on those relationships and really pour into them and move them forward. So how did we kind of accomplish all that? I spent a lot of time, and this may sound scary or daunting to you guys, and I don't want to scare anyone as far as how much time I spent building these relationships, but I felt that it was exactly what my team needed. So that's kind of where I'm coming from with this. But I would spend so much time each week going out and having happy hours one-on-one with people on my team, my level ones. I would get together and do things with no mention of Plexus. I would build the relationship even outside of Plexus so that we were building a true friendship with one another. I did lots and lots of wine nights. I did lots and lots of one-on-one phone calls because obviously we have a lot of team members that are outside of the Houston area. And we did group happy hours with all levels on the team. And this doesn't have to be centered around wine and alcohol and all that kind of stuff, but this is just kind of what brought everybody together. So we also wanted to build a bond with people across the team that aren't necessarily in the same downline and in the same group page beneath me. So we assigned power partners as well throughout the team for people on different teams to kind of learn from each other. And so that way they had other friendships forming as well. The other thing too is that when we would go to events like opportunity meetings and things like that, where I had team members there, I would always extend the invitation to everybody there to go grab dinner afterwards, or go grab a drink, or go do something afterwards and sit down and have a chat and kind of brain dump after the opportunity meeting or whatever event that we are at. And one thing as well is I always view, and I know that this is not widely accepted, but it's the way that we do it on my team. We view our level 6 the same as a level 2. We try and build the relationships across the team. I really do focus on my 1 through 4 as opposed to just my 1, but I do still reach out to my levels 5, 6, and 7 and try and build those relationships as well. And so if anybody comes to help me, comes to get help from me, I don't ever turn them away. I really pride myself on being as inclusive as possible and available to my team within reason. I do set, business hours and that sort of thing, but, and I spoke earlier on the fact that I felt that my leadership was lacking, and I had to do a lot of personal growth in that area as well. So I did focus on very, very leadership-oriented books and personal development videos surrounding leadership, quick things that I could do, so that I was really focused on my personal development every day. But with that being said, I also wanted my team to be doing the same thing. So I started the 21 Laws of Leadership, which I'm sure you guys have heard about. I did a book study, and the way I ran mine is that I ran the first 10 chapters myself, and then I turned it over to the people on the call, and they ran it from there on out. And so I became the participant and they became the leader. And I think it was a great way to empower them to figure out how they're going to run it for their team going forward. And we've duplicated it down. So the majority of the leaders on my team now have gone through the 21 Laws of Leadership. I am on my second run with my level 1s, but each of the level 1s from the first one have already gone and duplicated it out to their teams as well. One thing too that I did that was kind of unique is I did a team retreat in Austin. I gathered a bunch of my team. I put it out to the whole entire team and invited whoever wanted to and could come. And we built the team retreat based on that. We got all of the people to RSVP, and then we looked for a location for it based on the number that we had. I'm telling you what, that was probably the single biggest bonding experience that we had. It wasn't focused on only gold and above or anything like that. It was the whole entire team, anybody that wanted to come. And we spent the entire weekend, we had one formal training, but we spent the entire weekend talking plexus, bonding, just learning about one another. And we learned more from that weekend, and we grew a stronger bond with those people than anything I've done before. And we are actually, my team has been begging for another one. So we're doing another one in the spring as well. And same kind of setup. I just got a question. We had it on in Austin on Lake Travis in a house. It was a really, really big house. But the cost ended up, since it was a house, the cost only ended up for the entire weekend being $70 a person. So I just had everybody pay for the lodging. I provided 2 meals. We just did some pizzas and stuff there, and then we went out for one dinner. But it was fabulous. I cannot say how much. I mean, that it was like a miniature leaders retreat, if that makes sense. But in any case, so really, as you guys can see, my big focus has been creating relationships with my team. I really focus on the team culture and a team bond so that we really do feel comfortable with one another. We feel like we're part of something bigger than just our little section of the team. And I love the team camaraderie that we have built. All of this kind of ties back into creating momentum. If you can have strong and true relationships with the people on your team, you can cast your vision to them for the team. You can cast your initiatives. They have full trust in you. They feel like a partner with you, and they're going to hit the ground running. And it's all about, I mentioned it earlier, that mutual respect, the give and take, and them feeling valued. But one thing too is surrounding yourself with the people on your team that maybe fill in where you're weak and can give you different advice based on their experiences and what they're seeing. So really kind of, it's a lot of self-reflection and figuring out where you're weak, where you're strong, and then trying to figure that out with your team members through your talks with them and through building relationships with them. And surround yourself and use those people to help you move your team forward. Figure out what your team needs and move it forward. And take as many opportunities as you can to get your leaders' opinions on things. And one big thing, I think, right now especially, we just came through a pretty big time of growth in November, I think across the board, a lot of very new ambassadors. So right now in particular, I think it's a really good time, and I've been talking with my leaders about this, to kind of hit back to basics with our teams and to get them going and understanding, because I think it's really easy to lose how you felt when you first joined Plexus, and you feel lost. You feel like you don't know the products. You don't know where to start. You don't know how to begin. So hit those back to basics, like the real basic product knowledge, the basic what is network marketing, how to post, all those types of things, and do some training initiatives surrounding that to kind of start the year, and get them, those that have been around a while, to just start fresh, start over. It's a new year. Let's get going again. But to do that, we've been doing this the whole time. We have, and this goes back to empowerment as well. Every Monday on our team, we have a new ambassador training call that a different leader on my team leads. So I don't lead them. I lead them probably once every 9 weeks or 10 weeks or so. So it's not me just leading it. And usually that's because something came up for somebody and they can't do it. But it's kind of an honor on our team to get asked and to do that. So they love doing it. They go through a PowerPoint and they train the team members. We focus hard on hitting silver in your first 7 days in that PowerPoint. Our team is very focused on recruiting and on figuring out how to do it quickly in your first 7 days. So we go through that a lot. Not the first 30, not the first 60. I hear that a lot, but we focus on 7 days because I think it's doable. And I think if you can get somebody to hit silver in their first 7 days, they're sticking around. They get the vision. They see where this can go. They've seen some success. That's a big deal. Not only that, we talk to them a lot about Fast Start Gold in that training call. And we detail out what it takes to get Fast Start Gold. We put that bug in their ear. And if we do have somebody hit silver within the first 7 days, that's when we bring it back up again. And we talk to them about Fast Start Gold. We've had a lot of Fast Start Golds in the past 6 months or so. So I think it's definitely worked. You got to bring it up for them to realize that it's a thing. One other thing that I want to touch on too is, and I think this kind of helped turn the team around too, it's involving goals and talking to your team members. You really need to focus on building belief in their next rank. If somebody is silver, build that belief that they can do this, they can hit gold, help them roadmap it out. If somebody is senior gold, help them hit ruby and that sort of thing. But don't just stop there. Like when you go to take somebody their goals, paint a picture of what they can do to hit that next rank, but then extend it out. We have convention coming up. help them see what they could hit by convention. If they hit that next rank, and then what they have to do after that and after that and after that. Those roadmaps and giving them solid plans surrounding those roadmaps, like you have to add X amount of people, and this is how you can do it. You can talk to Susie on your team. You can do this and this and this. Get them to silver. Help them hit gold. Help them, give them those ideas and that belief. Because I think when a leader shows that to like hardcore belief in somebody underneath them, that really helps them rise up. If somebody is pouring belief into you that you can do something, you're going to be much, much more likely to try and achieve it. So that's one of the big things that we do on the first of every month. Myself and all the leaders on the team that have anybody on their team talk to everybody about goals and help them hit some roadmaps. We have a Road to Kona group that we're doing right now, and we have everybody marked on one big calendar as to when they're going to hit each rank, who's going to hit Emerald when, and who's going to, be with us in Kona. And it's pretty cool to be able to see that calendar and see what everybody, it's like a joint shared calendar, and see what everybody is, who's running together, who's not. And they've built little groups based on that to have these running mates to be hitting the same ranks at the same times and to kind of push each other along too. But the bottom line is that obviously relationships and team culture are a big deal to me. I think they're a big deal to your overall success and to buy-in and to just success from your team. So what I want to close with is to show up, never stop showing up. I never missed an opportunity meeting. Throughout my whole struggle and time, I never missed a training call. I never missed an opportunity meeting. I never missed a chance to learn. And I think that all those little nuggets that you hear from these calls and those things that you attend, that's what helps pull you out if you are stuck. So I'll close with that.
I love it. And I love that you closed with that, Sarah, because we had Sarah on one of my team's trainings one time. I think it was in December. Yeah. And that's one thing I said about her. Like, she is the girl that shows up. Like, she will be at everything. And we've always heard that those who show up go up. And it's so evident with Sarah. So I love it. You guys, I have pages of notes. I don't know if you guys do, but my hand's cramping. So I love it. Sarah, do you mind if we open up for questions?
Go for it.
Okay, we'll just take a few minutes. If you guys have a question, you can unmute yourselves to ask Sarah.
I'm trying to follow it on the chat too. I never used the chat, so this is new for me. I'm like,
Let's see. Okay, so there's one on there. How do you have the meetings at the beginning of the month? So I guess maybe like, do you have Zooms is maybe what she's asking?
The meetings at the beginning of the month?
Yes.
Oh, the goal meetings are you talking about?
Yes, I'm
okay. Sorry. I was like, no, those are one-on-one chats. It's actually not a big meeting. We usually do it through voice chat on Messenger, that kind of thing. So it's not like a planned big group chat. Although with my leaders, I do have a group chat at the beginning of each month to kind of plan out the month and see where we're lacking. And that is just over a Messenger thread as well.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
I have a question. It's Amy.
Hi, Amy.
Hi. I love your retreat idea. That is so awesome. That was like, I love that. So did you have out-of-towners come too? Because I have such amazing leaders on my team, but I feel like we're everywhere all over the U.S.
Yes, we had people fly in from Baltimore. We had people fly in from Tennessee. I was actually surprised because I thought it would end up being just Houston. But people wanted to learn. They were willing to pay for it. So they came in too. And I thought that was wonderful.
Wow. I love that. Yes, here's my team commenting. They want to do it.
It was that was probably one of the most beneficial things that we ever did. It was fabulous. So I highly, highly recommend it. And you don't have to make it extravagant. We just stayed in a nice big house. It was a nice house on Lake Travis, but when you put out the cost to everybody, it becomes really doable. It's like $35 a night for everybody.
Awesome. Thank you. I love that.
No problem.
I had a question. That PowerPoint that you were talking about, that you turn silvers in, you push silver in 7 days. I know you probably can't talk about it in minimal time, but what's some of the information that you kind of touch on during that week's time?
So it's basically the real basics of Plexus, how to get started, where to find information, what the team pages are all about, like real basics that kind of everybody would need to know. And I think, Amber, I think I sent you the PowerPoint.
Yes.
Okay. So she's got the PowerPoint that we use. I've edited a little bit, so I might have to send it to her again. But we go over general posting tips and general information about how to recommend products and what the different products do and that kind of stuff. It's not in-depth product training, but just real basic. And then we direct them where to find more in-depth training on each topic. We talk about the compensation plan. We talk about a little bit of the back office, not too crazy in-depth, but just general things that we assume are basics that you would probably go and find. But what I found is that people don't even know where to look. They don't know where to find this information or how to find it. Talk about getting business cards and where to find business cards and brochures and how to use samples, which we don't like samples on my team. So we talk about how to, talk around those points and talk about the retail preferred customer, wholesale, like how to sell those things, basic wording, first posts, when to make them, how to have success, and how to utilize your upline for three-way chats. We have a big focus on that too. So,
I like the idea of just even putting that out there about going silver in 7 days, because it sets the expectation. Because when we're saying, hey, try to go silver in 60 days, then they're like, oh, okay, well, I have 2 months to reach that goal. But if you're saying, hey, do this in 7 days, then they know that people have done it, and it's not this big, huge, scary, lofty goal that they can't do their first week of business. I love just setting that there. If they don't reach it, so what? But at least they have an idea what to shoot for.
Yeah, I think creating the sense of urgency around it helps people, and it gets them to just go contact their mom, their sister, their friend.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I have a question.
Go for it.
It's Rachel. Hey, girl.
Hey, how are you?
Good. You're amazing. Thank you for sharing this. Okay, so your team is the, king and queens of Fast Track Gold there.
Yeah.
I think y'all have had the most of any team.
I don't know what the numbers are on the other teams.
I'm sure it is.
So what are some tricks for that? Because I've had a couple people go for it and they get so close, but there seems to be something that just kind of keeps them from getting it, and I can't figure out what it is.
So with Fast Start Gold, you really can't be afraid to sell the wholesale. There's no way around it. You are not going to find in your first 30 days, you're not going to find 20 people that want to sell. It's just not going to happen. So you have to focus on the wholesale, and then also, hand in hand with that, though, bring up the fact that if they want to sell to a couple people or sign on people themselves, they could end up getting their welcome pack paid for, and so you want to it's not, because Fast Track Gold isn't just 20 level ones. You can have 20, it's just 20 in your level 1 through 3, because it's mock points. They have to add up to 100. And so really focusing on that. I don't think I've had anyone do it themselves, anyone. They all have gotten somebody else on their team to start adding along with them. And they verbalize with those people that they are going for Fast Start Gold. We also offer incentives for sign up and that kind of thing. And I know some teams don't like that, so please, nobody shoot me. But, a lot of times we'll offer half off sign up fee, that kind of thing too. But I think really the majority of it is belief. It's common knowledge on our team that you can do it. It's achievable, and we talk about it enough and we see it happen enough as the sponsors, And then the other half of that is having the newbie isn't going to have that belief because they haven't been around to see all the fast start goals. So it's building trust with your newbie too, and getting them in three-way chats. Three-way chats are key. You be the closer for them so that they can learn on the fly.
Okay. I love that. Three-way chats, yeah. Working on the whole three-way chats thing. I don't know if my team quite got the whole thing of it yet, but I'm with you on that.
What was that?
I don't know if my team's quite on board. Like, I'm trying to say three-way chats, but like, we're definitely incentivizing more now on our team. Like, it's part of the points to win prizes now during three-way chats. Like, you get entries and stuff. Because I've heard y'all talk about that. So
yeah. One thing we do with the three-way chat is when we have a new person post their first post, whether it's just a selfie or anything, they don't even have to say that they're selling. When they make their first post, anybody that comments below that, we just have them throw us into the three-way chat with that person. And they say, look, I just made my first post. So you can see that, I don't really know what I'm talking about. I want to make sure that I'm recommending the right things to you to get you started right on these products. And Sarah knows, a whole bunch about this or, whatever. So we have them do that just straight away, not asking the potential or anything like that. Just throw them in. And it seems to work pretty well.
Yeah, like on a messenger thread?
Yeah, messenger.
Yeah. Okay, good. Yeah, we started doing that too. Yay. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. What is this? My thought on samples. Okay. So we don't use them on my team. I really, really don't like them. The most that we will do is give one stick of Slim for taste. Anything beyond that, we kind of train away from and just focus on selling. And if they really want to try it and they really want to get results, because what results are you going to get out of 3 days? We focus on that 60 days and then the 60-day money back guarantee. If the person is really concerned, but it's to us, we just like doing the one for taste. Hope that helps.
Sarah, I want to ask a quick question. So you said you obviously are spending the majority of your time with your runners. You said you kind of break it up into who your runners are, your hobbyists, your wholesalers, and then the quitters. How do you distinguish between a runner and a hobbyist? Because I know there are people who are like, yes, I want this, but then they might not have the activity behind it. So how do you distinguish between who a true runner is versus somebody who's doing this as a hobby?
Anytime you kind of goal set with somebody and then you watch their actions, what happens after you goal set with them? Do they start showing up to the calls? Do they post a contest? Do they ask you follow-up questions beyond that, like, hey, how am I going to get this? What am I going to do? You can see based on their activity what their real thought on this is. If they are just working it into the nooks and crannies and don't really, or if they're like on the team training calls, they're on threads, they're a major participant in the team board and that kind of thing. You can tell. You can really, really tell. And I honestly think that the first couple days of a wholesale ambassador signing up is when you can flip them from a wholesale to a hobbyist or a runner, either way. But it's those first critical, probably max 4 days. You got to get them on the phone. You got to talk to them. Got to train them. Talk to them about the products, that kind of thing, and get them on the team boards. That's how I flip them. But yeah, I think identifying them is really just based on their own activity.
Mm-hmm. Do you put all wholesale people on the team board?
Absolutely. It's a requirement.
Ah.
Yes, every once in a while I get pushed. So I'll give you guys an example. I don't know if you guys know who Amy Welch is. She's my emerald, and one of my emeralds, and she fought me tooth and nail. She did not want to do this as a business. Like, she wanted no part of it. She is a published author. She was a C-level executive. She wanted nothing to do with this business. And I told her when I signed her up, she signed up for wholesale. And she goes, she even said to me, don't you dare add me to any like Facebook groups or anything like that. And I go, well, I have to. You sign up. It's just part of the process. I'm sorry. I have to add you to it. And I was like, I'll just add you to my team, but you're getting added to the team. And she was like, well, she's Emerald now. So and she went Fast Start Gold.
Okay. Wholesale
Yeah.
on team board. Got it. Thank you.
Well, and I just think a lot of people join for the discount, and then the team pages is where they start to see, oh my goodness, like this might be more than what I thought. So I've had majority of my runners started out as wholesale, and then once they saw the culture of our team page and how fun it could be and how doable it is, then that's when the wheels start turning for people.
Yeah, I was wholesale too.
How'd that work out for you?
Great.
Save some money. So funny. Awesome. Does anyone else have a question? We'll give it maybe one more minute and then we'll let everyone get on with their night.